Anyway, I'm gonna call this meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to order for Monday, December 8th. And would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of December 1st.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Hey,
Very
hey, Dave, what's going on?
We had a water inspection last week that we failed because of, an equipment problem. And also because we have a new inspector that's going by, where the other one didn't go by. And he's requiring all required documentation, couple forms. He wants, boiler logs, data reports, and all kinds of other stuff. I have to install the CO2 detector and high pressure, secondary high pressure units. Which is all stuff that we're gonna do, but, I just got to do that stuff. And, I did look at those lights over at Jackson Point. Outside, right now, the boats are frozen in place, so until they, thaw out on Tuesday, we won't be able to get in there until it falls.
Would you, if you get a chance, have?
Where's we talking about Jackson Point?
Maybe I can reach out to you.
I just used our router, our blower guy. Or not our blower guy, but our plumber. I can't take care of that stuff.
Can you give me his number?
Yeah. And, you got those reports, those things that have to be posted this week.
Yeah, it's all done. I took care of all that. I made arrangements with All American Pest Control, so we've got that all scheduled. It'll be the initial treatment and then all.
I'm assuming that, at the time I take away from the county over there, it's all agreed upon that it's okay that I do this service on company time.
Well, the reason I asked you to go over that, Dave, is I wasn't sure what Sean's gonna be.
I understand that.
Other than that, you don't need to be there. It's just a request on my part. Because All American was coming in and I had a dentist appointment that did me absolutely no good, but that's here or there. Oh, well, it cost me $130. But Sean was able to hang out, so.
And this week, I hope to get Sandy Leah's office 100%, so that they can go back and eat service if you have somebody that, put in there.
I don't know. You guys got any ideas for up there or just
Repeat the entire question.
upstairs? Sandy and Leah's home office. But do you have any ideas for up there?
I have had some ideas, but we should put it on our agenda when we talk about it here.
Okay, that works.
I had Rob go through the furnaces at UHS and Pathfinder and also with county attorney's office. He's got a corrosion problem. I just wanted to go in county attorney's office and I didn't go to that. We did parts to get
Clear as fire. Clear.
Is it like hose or something that's?
No, it's a corrosion problem or once it's meeting the equipment and there's a gas in there and it's corrosion goes on. This is all very this is kind of that's all I got.
Anything for Dave?
Oh,
yeah. I'll put it right there. All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you for making me first.
Dwayne?
Good morning, supervisors. We've had a little snow for late November and early December. Had a discussion with the plow operators that even though by ordinance, we are not responsible for damage to mailboxes while plowing. That is not a license to run them over. So we hit a few this first plow outing, and apologize for that. Crews will be more diligent in avoiding those and paying attention, having their situational awareness on high alert so that they're not just looking at the edge of the road, they're looking at the surroundings as well. But for the first snow, first time we had everything out, we had very minimal mechanical issues, so that's a good thing. Mother Nature pretty well put a stop to our outside work here for a little bit. Right now, they'll be concentrating on shop maintenance, equipment maintenance, kind of starting on the annual list of replacing hoses, belts, and all the stuff we do in the winter. So this morning we had our monthly safety meeting a week late because of the snow last week. And we covered hand tools and power tool safety. Yeah, I spent the end of last week up at the County Engineers Convention, which is always a good reminder of how little I know about what I do. There's a lot of things some of the other county engineers do that are interesting, intriguing, and some of them require a large budget. But a lot of the stuff pretty simple, and then we'll start adding that into our workload. Other than that, I see my budget and 5-year plan is now in need of getting ready for next month, so I'll get started on that.
I was gonna print that out and I saw it 77A, just so I thought, man, maybe not.
That's really all I have.
Anything for Dwayne? All right, discuss and consider Brian Stever and Jaron Stinsley's cost of living rate secondary roads department. Number 2 in your packet. So these are what do you want to call it there?
Certifications increase.
No, this is when all full-time employees of the county received their cost of living increase in July. It was limited to people who had 1 year or more, with the idea that when people got their 1 year, that they would then be eligible for that. So these employees are on last year's pay scale. Because they did not have their 12 months in, now they do.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Set date and time for public hearing on non-agricultural load embargo for item 46. So Abby, we're on the 8th, so 22nd.
Works one.
9 AM. So it would be December 22nd at 9 AM, the official public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
So those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey, Josh.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
All right. So I'm in Atumwa this morning for a funeral, then I'll be into work this afternoon. So that's why I'm zooming in. So transports for last month. I told you I was going to have this for you this week. 171 calls for service in November. Of those 171, 46 were transfers from Jefferson County Health Center. Total collections for November so far, 63,696, which again, all of those numbers were pretty much on par with our normal. So things are going smooth. Have a few PRN voluntary like staff reductions, I guess. So I reached out, got a few staff that just hadn't picked up shifts for 6 months or a year. So I reached out to a few of them and just asked if they intended to continue working, and either got no response or they said they were going to be done. So we lost 3 of our PRN staff. But on the other side of that, we're picking up new staff that will probably work more. So it all comes out in the wash. Also, probably losing another one for no call, no show, but that's a different story. So that's all in staffing. Other updates, we are helping with a demo later on this week for a medical device called the Spanton board. It's a pretty cool device that's new to the market. It's a backboard kind of immobilization device that reduces movement to pull the patient onto the board so that we can kind of help manage the any potential spinal injury. So that's pretty cool. I've been involved with them for probably 2 years or so, just kind of on the periphery, but kind of watching that program develop, and it's really cool to be able to help demo that this week so we can get more investors and forward. So other than that, we were supposed to help with secondary roads training last week, and then the snow happened. So hopefully sometime in the near future, we'll be helping with first aid and some stop the bleed training for the secondary roads. And that's really about all I've got.
Josh, would you just real quickly explain about, I guess I'd say, the work requirement or whatever for PRN, so that folks understand what we're talking about?
Oh, so we don't really have a specific requirement, but when we talk about PRN staff, those are kind of the part-time fill-in people. So they'll just pick up shifts whenever we have a call off or an opening in the schedule. So again, no really specific requirement. We ask they work once a month, but sometimes with if we're fully staffed, that's not really an option. So I don't really push too hard on that. But when I had a few staff that hadn't picked up for 6 months or 9 months or even a year, we'll reach out to them and just see if they intend to stay with us or not. And it's not a big deal if they don't. I know people are busy with other things, and if we're not their priority or their full-time job, then I understand. We'll let them go, and if they want to come back at a later point, they're more than welcome to come back. So it's not punitive or anything. It's just they don't. They're not working much for us, and it's less things that I have to track if they're not here very often. So it works out well.
Any questions for Josh? Susie?
Nope.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
And number 3 in your packet, discuss and consider hiring James Hopton as EMT PRN, Jefferson County Ambulance. And as we just heard, this is a position where they help cover if there's somebody calls off or whatever. It's not a benefit position or anything of that nature. I would make a motion to approve the hire.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All the same sign. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Allow and disallow family farm credits as recommended by the, well, hello, Mr. Assessor.
Good morning. You're gonna get plenty of
You
that.
stuck around it for this.
Yeah,
A little late, aren't
it
you?
doesn't take, yeah, it's 125, it doesn't take much to get it
How many? A couple of them.
in.
Like I signed a few times. It gets in front of me, I just sign. There you go.
So this is just the annual, we take the family farm credit applications, you guys by statute allow and disallow. We don't have anything to sign this year, but we did have some new ones and we had some removed. And it's you to allow and disallow what needs you. And that's it.
So we don't need to see anything.
No, don't have to sign anything, you just have to have a motion and a vote. and
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Vote same sign.
Thank you much.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Meet with Sean Morrissey. Where to be? I thought you looked familiar. Other picture.
Okay, so I'm here, we do this annually. It's a requirement of chapter 350, which is the code that oversees the conservation boards in Iowa, but we are required to report all our activities and financial activity as well annually to the Board of Supervisors. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what's contained in this report. This will be from July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. And if we can just, I'll kind of go through and hit the highlights here. Obviously, on the front of the cover here, Prairie Ridge Campground was a big thing this year, but we'll get to that here in a minute. We still have the same board members, Gavin Stever, Terry Deers, Gene Parker, Molly Mazinski, and Corey Clem. They're on 5-year terms and they are staggered so that we have an environmental education program report in here, and you can kind of see it's kind of holding the line. It's very popular with the schools. We service Cardinal, Pekin a little bit, obviously the Fairfield schools, and occasionally we'll do things with Van Buren County and Davis. But we're serving quite a big group of people, and we also do public programs outside of the schools as well. That's a very popular program that we provide, though. We'll move on to land acquisition. We didn't really have any land acquisition in this period, but I did want to mention because it happened during this year, the Mazdan barn business, that they needed some change in status because they were being annexed into the city. So we're happy to help out with putting them under our chapter 350 so that they can continue to operate as a museum, a historic site. Even though we're not really actively doing much, we'll leave is it the historic preservation? What do we call them? The Mazdan barn?
Committee.
Yeah, leave them in charge of that. Didn't have any big equipment purchases, and the main reason for that, again, was this campground development. I'm sure you're all aware we had a Destination Iowa grant for $450,000, and then you all had provided some of your ARPA funds, but we also had to contribute a couple $100,000, and so we didn't have any extra money to buy any new vehicles or mowers or that kind of stuff. So that slot is empty. Moving on to grants, we did receive $144,000 from what's called a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, which is basically we have to match it's a 50-50 or 1-to-1 grant. And we're actually leveraging our match for our TAP grant that we got a couple of years ago. And that brings us up to about, including some other monies, about $700,000 that we've got in outside money for a trail paving project on the Cedar View Trail that we're working towards. That may start this fiscal year, but I'm thinking the way things move, it might be into next year. that's coming up. Work projects completed, the Prairie Ridge Campground, obviously, most of the work was done for that. And we didn't open it during this period, but we did open it July 1st. And actually, I'll get to the revenue here in a little bit, but that brought in a fairly significant amount of revenue for only being in open half the summer. And then some other things there about habitat restoration. We're getting some other smaller grants and money for improving the habitat on some of our other areas there. And then the miscellaneous projects and activities, those are kind of the same from year to year. Just kind of lists all the different things we do for the community. We provide hunter ed classes. We have a deer hunting park. We help private landowners manage their properties sometimes, especially with a lot of questions about prairie burning, and we do have some equipment that we will loan out for that. We work with the Conservation Foundation of Jefferson County, and we give out a scholarship, a Zillman Scholarship through the Greater Jefferson County Foundation every year, and the awardee is listed there. Then it lists the numerous different trainings. Work with Iowa DNR and Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation to improve habitat on our conservation areas. And I did mention we assisted the sheriff's office when Ragbri came through with some traffic control. We have 2 officers that helped with that. And then I've listed our projects for the upcoming year. We're going to finish the campground. I actually have a pit toilet coming Wednesday that's got to be set with a crane, and that should be the final thing on that project. I'm hoping to close that out in January. I mentioned the Cedar View Trail paving. That's going to be the next big project that's coming. And then a lot of these other ones are kind of on here. We'd like to do some improvements at Macomb. That's kind of an ongoing on the list. I did mention the Neff wetlands. If you're familiar with that, that's one of our areas, and it has a terrible invasive weed problem. It has teasel, a weed called Lespedeza, purple loosestrife, and we're trying to get a handle on that, but it's something we're going to focus more on it in this future year, I hope. Then in summary, obviously, we take care of over 1,400 acres, 18 miles of trails, 3 campgrounds, and do that with your support, thankfully. I didn't mention we had that next page, Bob Leisure retired. He'd been with us for 17 years during that period, so he's moved on and we have replaced him. And I'll just get to the revenue real quick. Things were pretty decent, shelter-wise, a little bit up from last year, but not at our record levels. Cabin rental was probably as good as we've done in the last 3 years at over almost $8,000. And then our campground, I'll go to Macomb first. It basically had a record year at $9,500. And I think that's attributable to the river had water in it almost all the way through the summer until late in the summer. And that's a fishing access that when there's water in the river, there's more campers there. So I'm guessing that's why that did so well. Round Prairie Park, we have kind of phased that out. Most of that money is from one guy. We charge $5 a night. And if he would stop using the area, I don't know that we have any revenue there. But and then Jefferson County Park, I would say, was down. You can see the numbers there. We were at a peak in 2022, 41,000. And it's just gone down a little bit each year, but to me, it was a little more significant because that's including our new campground. So the old existing campground had a revenue of about 23,000, which would be significantly down from 36 the year before, but we did bring in about 10,000 in that new campground, so I don't know if people just, I know some people switch because it's got the full sewer hookups, but it wasn't like we brought in more. It was just kind of spread out more over the two campgrounds. And I hope to publicize our new campground a little more this coming season. But that was kind of a thing I'm gonna ask about around the state, whether there was kind of a decrease just because of people's financial statuses or if it was just an isolated thing that happened to Jefferson County Park. Because like I said, McCoon had a record year. But there's all the financials there. There's some pictures of the kids. That's one of the better things. You know, how we sell ourselves is some of these people have their first outdoor experiences or their only opportunity for that on these parks and natural areas. And then there on the end of that is just the money we got from the county and spent. And then that final page, I had to put something together for the auditor's independent auditor. So I thought I'd throw that in, but we spent on top of our regular budget, almost $700,000 on that campground last year, which that's more, by far more than our regular budget. And hopefully it will pay off in the future. I think it will. I was quite surprised by the revenue in just a short term and with really no advertising. But we definitely had. The thing about that new campground that people like is their sites are reservable and they have the sewer hookup. So I think that's going to bring in new people as they discover it's there. And the other thing about that, the good way to look at that is that was mostly outside money, you know, between the grants and the ARPA funds and things. It's something that's going to be there for a long time. But didn't, you know, we didn't have to put it all on the local population. But everything's going good. I don't know if you have questions or anything I didn't touch on here. You can look through this more when you have time, and I'm always available, obviously. And if anybody sitting here wants this, just call out to the Nature Center, 472-4421, and we'll email you the contents of it. But
Well, I think early on in the season, we had a lot of rain. So it was just constant. I mean, it just maybe a day off, then it didn't rain again, a lot of rain. And I just wonder if that wasn't part of our.
on the revenue being down, well, I don't know the answer, but I have talked to some other counties where they were seeing the same thing. So I kind of suspect it's a economy type. People didn't have quite as much recreational money or funds they might have camped once a month where they, you know, normally camp a couple times a month, or I don't know. That's a guess.
Any questions for Sean?
Good report.
Well, I know I spend as much time out there as I can. Maybe more so than you would. But
No, glad to have you.
Have you stayed up in the new campground?
I have. I'm partial to the lower campground. I got a particular campsite that I'm pretty fond of. So
Why don't you just rent it to him year round?
we've had that discussion.
Yeah. We'll work with you.
All right, thank you, Sean.
I think I got one more.
Oh, okay. All right, before we pick the tag off, consider reappointment of Malone Vicinity to Jefferson County Conservation Board. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
How long has she been there?
Less than 2 terms, I think. I can't remember if she replaced Kathy Tollinaire or Wayne Atwood, but probably less than 10 years. But she's real good.
Yeah.
Glad to have her on board.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Same sign.
Thanks, Sean.
Discuss and consider salary increase for Casey Miller, Jefferson County. So this would be an increase from 1,600 to 1,750 a month, or per pay period, excuse me. This is step increase on the original higher amount. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign. Meet with Courage. I think I said that right. What now?
So you like us just to do it from here, or
Are you? Come up here.
you can kind of take turns like this?
That's the first one.
Excuse me. Well, good morning, everyone. And before I go any farther, just want to say sincerely, a thank you for granting us time on your agenda this morning. And we're very appreciative. There are two people with me from Caroche. Don't feel bad. I called it Courage for about the first
Okay.
several years until I finally got it through my head. But and they're going to be talking also. But what we're here to talk about is HIPAA. And first of all, HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Now, that probably doesn't really mean a whole lot to you. And so what the HIPAA Act does is it establishes, these are national standards for basically protecting patient health information, or PHI. Just like in every other phase of government, you have to have an acronym. So PHI. So if we talk about PHI, it's patient health information. So in broad terms, the purpose of HIPAA is to safeguard patient privacy and secure patient, excuse me, let me start over here. I want to say the purpose is to safeguard patient privacy and as well as secure patient information, and while making it easier to, I guess I'd say, maintain health insurance coverage when an employee changes or loses their jobs. And that seems like a lot of words, and it may not mean a whole lot to you either. But I think the important thing is that it in the wording, it mandates that healthcare providers, insurers, and business partners protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of electronic as well as paper health records. So it's up to the county in this case to do that. And I think there's two key words in what I just said here. I apologize for reading it off, but it mandates, you don't have a choice. It mandates you have to do that, basically to protect private health information of your employees. And it also includes business partners. And that was one of the things, I'm former auditor at Washington County, and it came upon us, or it came clear to us that while we were doing some of the things, we were not making sure that outside contractors and people like that came to the courthouse or came wherever would not be able to, they must comply with this also. So, for example, just a small example, we found out that we couldn't really leave private documents and things that included private health information just lying around on our desk. Now you could if you were there, but at least when you go home at night, if nothing else, put that stuff in the drawer. It goes down to that level of detail. And so I don't know if I've confused you or helped, but it's mandatory. And, good morning. I think I know you. And it ensures again that medical information is kept private and secure, and it can't be shared without the employee's permission. And so I'll let Roger introduce himself, but he'll talk about maybe, I'm not sure what all he has, but what can happen if you do have a breach. We did have that in Washington County. And again, we relied on Roger's leadership and expertise to get us through that. We ultimately determined that it was not a breach, but even, the amount of work that it took to determine that there was quite a bit, and we were very, very grateful for Roger's expertise. So go ahead if you would. And
Thanks,
I'll let
Dan, and thanks for letting us come talk to you. In your packet, there are a couple of items regarding what we're going to talk about. First one is this chart says, think you're compliant, think again. It's kind of a high level overview of the things you need to be thinking about. So the first chart shows all the requirements under the regulations and when they're required to be addressed. The second column shows the number of covered entities, which is what a county is. Someone's working with protected health information. How many of them in percent are in compliance? And you can see the compliance numbers are very low. And why should that matter? So if we go to the next two charts on the left, it shows the cost of what a breach would cost the county. People tend to focus on the fines and penalties. The median fine and penalty right now is about $60,000 for a single breach. The other items are what it costs you as a covered entity in terms of ancillary costs. So, for example, reputational harm, costs about $220,000. These are for practices that isn't sort of relatable to the county, but on the right-hand side, that is more relatable. These numbers are what people think about privacy and your compliance, and you can see that vast majority of individuals are not happy with the level of compliance that they tend to see. As a county, as politicians, my view is that if you're in good compliance, it's something to run on because people are very concerned about their information. And if you're not in compliance, it gives something for your competitors to run on. So just on that, and then if you flip it over, training is one of the areas where people are least compliant. Only about 6% of organizations are doing training effectively and under the regulations. And in fact, the regulatory agencies have indicated they believe that virtually all breaches have a root cause of not credible training. So you want to make sure that you're training. So the way we work with counties, and by the way, we have, so how many we have now? 11 counties here in Iowa that work with us. They've been working with us for a number of years. If you look at this next piece, which talks about our products, it goes through the 5 different service offerings that we have. The one that the vast majority of our clients work with us on is the one called HIPAA Select. And the reason they pick that is because as they begin to understand what it takes to be compliant, they quickly realize that they don't have staff in terms of available hours and in terms of training to adequately address the compliance issues. So under the HIPAA Select, it's a one-on-one custom program, and we do virtually everything on your behalf, working with your staff as needed to make sure that you are compliant. And under that program, we actually guarantee compliance with a indemnification. So if you do have a breach and you have fines and penalties, we indemnify you up to the first $100,000 of the fines and penalties. Now, we do have another item in here, which is where we have comparison between our program, one of our programs, the HIPAA Express and ISAC. Many times, I shouldn't say many times, on occasion, we come in and talk to accounting, they say, well, we're already working with ISAC or we're talking ISAC. So we want to give you a comparison of what we offer versus the ISAC program. And so these are the items that ISAC talks about. So they talk about risk assessments, both privacy and security. Under our program, we actually conduct them with you. ISAC gives you some training on how to conduct the assessment, but conducting it falls specifically to you. Regulations require that after the assessment, which evaluates your level of risk in each of the 103 vulnerabilities that are in the regulations, you need to generate a remediation plan. That's something that we do in our program. ISAC does not even address that. Policies and procedures, we work with you to customize your policies and procedures. ISAC provides you templates in PDF form, so they're difficult to customize and edit. And by the way, those templates are actually our templates. ISAC was one of our clients a number of years ago, and they were having HIPAA issues. They brought us in to help them address those. One of the things that we did was create a template book for them. They're supposed to attest us that it's ours, that we help them, but they don't. That's okay. Workforce training. One of the reasons that the regulatory agencies believe that the core root cause of breaches is inadequate training is because most people don't train on their own policies and procedures. They do a generalized once a year training on HIPAA, and they feel that that's all they need to do. That's not correct. You need to train on your own policies and procedures. Under our program, under the HIPAA Express, we will train the trainers for you and give you the material that the trainers can then train the rest of the staff members with. ISAC gives you a train the trainer on generalized web training. They typically do that at their annual conference that they hold for you. On support, actually ISAC has just bumped that up to 5 hours of support. So we would match that. Business associate management, which is what Dan was talking about, people that work for you, that do activities on your behalf, that use protected health information that you've collected are called business associates. You need to conduct an evaluation of them as to whether they're HIPAA compliant or not. That's something that we do for you or train you how to do, and with our software, make it easy to do. That's not something that ISAC looks at. And then security incident assessment, we work with you on that. And for ISAC, that's part of the 4 hours that they provide on an annual basis of their service. So are you guys using ISAC service at this point, or?
No, that,
For our clients that have used ISAC, we actually will send them back what they paid to ISAC for our service. So hope I've imparted to you the idea that you should be concerned about keeping health information private, that your citizens really care about it, and that there are a variety of programs that will get you compliant, keep you compliant. We think we have the best service for the most reasonable price. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
go, Sydney?
Was that a question? So can I ask what you guys are doing right now? Who your chief privacy officer is, what you're required to have, who your chief security officer is?
Well, I would assume it's the auditor's office.
We don't have anything in place current. They used to be Pat McAvey, I believe.
Oh, okay. So they're assistant again.
I've been told it was discussed quite a long time ago.
So I don't know what's it currently, I don't know whether there's been any discussion at the attorney's office or not, as far as that part goes. Pat is now a judge, so he's technically no longer with the county. I guess not technically, he's no longer with the county. So how that
Still
works.
lives in the county.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Still comes in the courthouse,
Mm-hmm.
so. That's evidently, we don't, as far as that ball was picked up when Pat left, so it's something we probably would have to look at, but.
The county attorney's office has followed it in several instances. And it is some tricky area of law, particularly where we have an ambulance service, we are a provider. And the HIPAA law really comes down hardest on providers. There are employment laws that restrict as far as sick leave information and that kind of things that apply, that it's a slippery slope. There is a lot of fear that sometimes is overblown as far as HIPAA that doesn't come down to ordinary people. For instance, law enforcement. There are a number of places where people worry about it, that it is not as onerous as they believe. It originally was done for portability for when, as far as electronic information and communication of that kind of providers. And I believe that is a significant thing, but it's carried around and it's not, no longer costs $25 to file a lawsuit, but it's not that much for someone to file a lawsuit thinking they can recover something. And there are serious criminal and civil penalties for providers, and we are a provider with our ambulance service.
So it goes beyond the ambulance. I mean, you have a jail here and public health and OSHA. I mean, you deal with workforce issues and maintain information for injuries and whatnot. All those areas do end up, as you say, while not technically a provider, do make you a covered entity. So department by department, we find that there are a variety of departments that need to be concerned about HIPAA. And not being in compliance can be a very expensive proposition just from the regulatory side before you get into, the civil suits, which.
So
As you said,
let's cut to the
people-
chase here. What are you talking about money wise?
Steph, I'll let you handle that.
It was like the base price is 16,500. And that's what most counties that tend to go with.
And that's on an annual basis, and it's a one-year contract. And for that, we do the vast majority of the work for you. We guarantee the work. We indemnify you for any breaches. Moving down from that, we have the basic, which is the next level down, and that goes for
9,500. And both those packages include 50 trainees. So if you have more than 50 employees, there would be an additional cost of $21 per employee.
so every employee in the county needs to be trained. One way that counties are saving money is they're going to train the trainer kind of activity for secondary roads, because all secondary roads personnel need training. They rarely, run into an issue. So what they do, we do all online training. So they'll log on, the department head will log on to the training during an in-service day and spend the 15 minutes for secondary roads, about 5-7 minutes worth of training, then give us the training report and we put it into our system so it can be tracked. So we can cut down on the number of employees by doing those activities in departments that are not going to typically see any protected health information unless they walk into an office and see it on a desk. They get a second level training. While we don't recommend it, we do have a program the HIPAA Express that is comparable to the ISAC and that.
3,900.
So you say you have 11 counties on speed dial right now?
Yeah.
Here, I have the updated.
We have the updated list.
So I don't need those. I was just the number.
Yeah,
Oh.
and they're mostly all here in southeast Iowa.
Mhm.
We also used to have, 4 of the, mental health, behavioral health regions in existence, but they've all gone away.
Okay, Joe, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I feel we should not make a decision today. We should sit and talk about it and look at our situation before we do anything.
Well, and it says to discuss and consider compliance, so I'm making a decision when we're starting the budget process, well, this month, actually, to look at things. And remember when she said that stuff had to be in, but
I think January 15th.
so I appreciate it. We'll,
Let me leave you a couple of cards and,
Okay.
what we'll do is we'll put together some information for you, more detailed.
okay,
We can send it to you and give you something to talk about. And we're more than happy to come back again and discuss it and, help you make an educated decision, whether it be, to work with us or someone else.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Whoops, sorry. Discuss and consider disposal system contracts. We don't have public hearing anything, right? I've not heard anything contrary. So the first one is, okay, so Zachary Keith Frank. Environmental Health has brought these to us. I would make a motion to approve the contractor's license for Zachary Frank.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The bond is attached to the back. Discuss and consider disposal system contract for license for Cambridge Enterprises. Also brought forth by Environmental Health Specialists. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Discuss and consider sale of Osage property. May I ask a quick favor before we get into this, if I can take a short break? Man, see, it can't. See, we got another wing. I will be right back. You guys can start the discussion.
I need to step out and make a phone call.
That's all right, I got nothing to do.
Can we lock that
up? Take your time. I got all day.
I'm right beside you.
Think so with that?
It's up to you, Susie.
Hey,
You mean about locking the door?
Yeah, yeah. Can we discuss this, what you just had on HIPAA?
I would like to know your opinion.
Well, it sounds like they're gonna take over all the responsibility, but they're only gonna guarantee you $100,000 if they're, if there's a hit. You know, if they said they'd take on the first $1 million, I say, hey, jump on it, but for what you're buying for $100,000 of insurance policy, I don't know. And HIPAA, I drove a drug bus for 24 years, but we were not entitled to know any health issues on any kids on the bus.
Correct.
I mean, you're responsible for all these kids, but we can't tell you if one of them has a problem. It's, I guess it's fine and dandy. I need to know, but, so basically you buy an insurance policy, they're gonna do the training and take responsibility, but they're gonna guarantee you for 100,000.
Yeah, which is why I thought we should wait and think about it a little.
Yeah, you know, if they bring that up to $1 million, I'd say, yeah, good insurance policy, but I think the county.
You know, one thing I'd like to know, and I hate to give Chris a chance to talk, but she might enlighten us a little bit on HIPAA. Are you there, Chris?
You haven't heard from her yet.
I know, I can't believe we haven't heard from you. Been almost an hour.
I,
Oh, no.
I'm here. I can be quiet when I need to be quiet. I'm drinking
I
coffee.
forgot we're on TV.
Well,
I just want your opinion. Some folks would like to hear it.
well, as far as well, as a nurse, obviously I follow HIPAA. You don't hear me talking about patients' medical care. I think the thing we need to differentiate is obviously the health department is different from the ambulance, and then, you know, at the jail setting when they're taking care of inmates for health. Let me turn my heater off just a second. It's freezing in my office. I think those are different situations than being the employer of record and then still needing to take care of private confidential employee information as the elected official or department head. So I think that there's some conversations that probably should be had between, you know, the elected officials that are department head and the department heads and the appointed department heads to have a conversation to see what truly is HIPAA protected information with your employee versus what is basically common knowledge, like our salaries and that kind of stuff. So I think it warrants a conversation. This isn't the first time I've heard a presentation from the company. So anyway, you asked. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here quietly drinking my coffee and listening. Did you think I'd left?
Oh, no, no. Lee, we're letting Chris talk about HIPAA.
I thought the impressive part was quietly.
Oh, what? I'm gonna put myself back. Hey, you guys asked the question, so I just wanted to give you
Chris, I
my.
appreciate your input.
Yeah. I think it just warrants a conversation so everybody understands what they're responsible to do as an employee, an employer, and then a medical department. So thanks. Have a good rest of your meeting.
Okay,
Did I miss something with Chris?
no, she was quiet.
It'll be recorded. You can look at it.
Your office is cool.
I appreciate everybody's indulgence. So on the agenda is to discussing his city sale of Osage property. I'm probably gonna nip this in the bud here just pretty quick. So I've had a conversation with the transportation planner at Iowa DOT here at the District 5 office. And as it stands right now, that ground is not available to build on. It has, that's the highlighted area you're familiar with. That's the area that we've been looking at. And if you'll notice on the lower right-hand corner, there's this little circle with a thingamajigger in the middle of it.
A control station.
Yeah. And that line is the line that runs up to all of the, I don't want to call them security lights, but the lights over
Junction lights, freeway lights,
I'm sorry.
the security lights, the freeway.
Yeah, for the on ramps and the off ramps and other ramps and whatever. And as it stands right now, the DOT is saying you cannot build over those cables, which runs right through the middle of that ground, and that goes on up the right of way, as you can see there.
And if you look, there's even more cables than that in that ground.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't, it's hard to tell, like on this picture, like exactly where it's at, but that road above the yellow is their driveway.
Yes,
So of course, that property goes up into there also. So is this the farthest south side of that property?
well, that's Osage running to the, I'm gonna say on the west, coming down on the west side there.
I mean, it'd be nice to know like where the tree line is there, where that's actually at, but if those are underground,
Yes,
but nobody builds anywhere where there's underground wires? I
I'm
mean,
just
we,
telling you what the DOT
It's
told
got
us
a 100
last
foot
week,
easement on.
so.
so what do
100 foot.
I mean, when we talked to him, he was like all for like, okay, if we find out we own it, we'll sell it.
Well, he evidently did not have this information at the time, because when I received this information,
Who is it?
who is what?
Who was you talking to?
Chris Kukla,
Okay, Chris.
Transportation.
Okay.
When I received this information, then I called Chris and said, hey, I'm looking at this map.
Mhm.
And I sent him a copy of the map. In fact, you can see my little chicken scratchings there. Um, and, first off, I said, since I was able to read this map, I wondered if they had any jobs as map readers. But beyond that, I sent it to him to ask his opinion, because I was told that we could not build on that. And so he reviewed it, and at this point in time, that's the consensus, that they don't want to build over the top of it.
Okay, and I agree, I'm fine with that if that's the new update, but, you know, if that falls in between the property line that was, I didn't bring that map. Did you by chance bring a map? If it would fall between where that land is and the southern part that you can't sell, why would that, I wouldn't be building over that.
You can't go within 100 foot of it. 100 foot easement.
You know, Lee, I think the issue is, do we want to sell it or not?
Yeah,
And if we make that decision, we don't need to get everybody upset with each other.
Well, we
I'm-
already made that decision.
So you're saying you don't want to sell it? Because the last time you talked about it, you tabled it because she wasn't here to give her opinion.
No, we voted.
They voted no sell.
No, if we go back, I'm pretty sure it says that it was tabled
get the
to be,
minutes out.
could be discussed later.
So
It
if
could be brought up
whether
later.
or
Right.
not we just need to decide if it's for sale, today it'll stop a whole lot of stuff.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
So,
I just,
so I move that we do not sell the property. Period. Is that all we need to do?
Do we say at this time? Joe?
No.
Well, I want
We
a
do not
time
sell
frame.
the
I mean, I don't want to have to worry about this every 2 or 3 months. I want time.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to make enemies, I really am not. And I'm not upset with any of you, and I probably, the only one I haven't talked to was you. And I talked to you about land, I talked to you about land, I talked to your wife.
I mean,
Oh, did
you
I?
talked to us like 2 or 3 times last month.
And so I've talked to, I mean, I'm not trying to cause trouble and I'm not trying to make enemies at all. I'm just, you know, when my daughter graduated in 18, went for veterinarian, decided she didn't want to work with sick animals, wanted to work with real animals. The conversation came up that we just jumped into this and we just want to buy the land. And she's been doing this since she got out of high school in 18. In 18, when she graduated, she already had 1 year of her veterinary degree. So it's not a fast just decision. I mean, she left here, she moved to Des Moines for 2.5 years. She worked at a doggy daycare at the top in Des Moines. They've been the top for 7 years in Des Moines. She was there, then she came home and then we decided to buy land. I have talked to it. I tried to build it in town. It's not like we just jumped to this whole place and like, oh yeah, we're gonna just do this because the town structure is too stout on their fencing and their ordinance as far as distance around. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't believe it, but your house to there or that to the other house, that's enough distance. That's plenty of distance of what it would be that would be not a problem for the neighbors. And another reason why we thought there's good distance there, open air, it'll be fine. So it's not, I don't want you to think I'm picking on you, I'm trying to make your area of life miserable. What I'm saying is it's not a boarding facility. It's a
What is it?
daycare. It's a daycare. So people, when you go to work, so when,
So when a plane flies over and the dogs start barking, you're not going to complain that we're getting your dogs too excited?
no,
When the chemicals
Because
are
here's the
sprayed on the
thing.
field, that spread on dogs,
huh?
or the chemicals that get sprayed on the field.
Okay,
sprayed
so
on
I'm
dogs.
56 years old, lived in the country all my life. We've had dogs. I have We have had fields on all four sides. We have never lost a dog.
No, but
That's not gonna be-
I've gotten complaints from
Well, I think if you got people that are,
people with dogs. Matter of fact, I got one just last month. Hey, Joe, what are you spreading on your field? I said, I think it's potash. Well, we got dogs here and we're getting a little drift and.
but I think you
and-
can get people that'll just,
Huh?
they
No.
don't look into the problem. They just want to complain to you about the problem. We're not gonna be like that.
That's easier said now.
We've done all the studies about these things
So-
as far as fireworks, you get fireworks in town, gunshots, you get,
I'll guarantee it.
huh?
Not like mine, I'll guarantee.
Well, I'm just
So-
saying, it's a boarding facility, so. And she came up with this because during COVID, everybody got a dog. Everybody got a dog, someone had someone at home, a cat, everybody jumped on that bandwagon. And so now people went back to work and they're like, oh my gosh, my dog's going into stress mode because there's no one home with my dog all day. This would be a huge bonus for the town.
Yeah,
I
but
have
it'd
talked to,
be a pain in my butt.
That's what.
only if I was a pain in your butt, and I'm not a nitpicky kind of
Yeah,
person.
you
We've
say
already-
that,
we've
but
already judged-
but people live around farm areas complaining about the chemicals and everything.
Lived around a farm
So-
all my life.
So I thought we had it last meeting that it's not up for sale.
No, it was
So
tabled.
Here, I don't know if it was tabled or not, but here we are again with the same. So is it
Well, I
for
think-
sale, is it for sale or not for sale?
Well, let's go back here, because
And,
I was trying to be kind at the public hearing, and I wasn't gonna speak, because I don't want to make enemies. I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
Yeah.
But I kind of had
I'm
the feeling
against
that you thought it was a breeding
No.
unit, where we were gonna have
I
puppies
understand it's a
and.
We
daycare.
don't want it, I mean, that's something
But the-
I can't figure out is, you're trying to put something where nobody within mile wants it, nobody wants it there.
Well, I beg to differ, because I've talked to the mayor, and I've talked
The
to
mayor
other
don't live
people.
out
And
there.
they-
I know, but
That's what I'm
it's,
saying, the people
people
live around
want
it.
it.
Can I interrupt? I made a motion that we do not sell this property. And I need a second. I don't think we need to go through all. of
Well, I'm not
this
trying, I was just
discussion.
trying not to upset people. I wanted
Okay.
them to understand that we have done the research. It's,
My suggestion is you go talk to a realtor and you find some property out somewhere out in the county away from here, but at this time, this property is not for sale as far as I am concerned. And I need a second to my motion.
So we have a motion on the table. To not sell the Osage property.
That's correct.
ever.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Ever? You're never gonna sell it?
Well, because there's power lines there and stuff, it'll never.
And power lines ain't coming out of the ground,
People build around power.
either in Maine or.
If I could say something,
Sure. Go ahead.
4 years ago, with the other supervisors, Dee and Darren, we went out there and we thought it'd be a good place to just mow the ground, put some rock and have a place where people could ride and share a ride, similar to what we have west of town. We also considered maybe just mowing it and planting some prairie species. In other words, special grass we used to have in the prairies, which is kind of a thing now, at least it is up around Iowa State University. They do it all the time on land right beside the roads, Highway 30. So we had thought of doing other things, and that never has been turned up or down, whether or not we should do that. I don't know. I actually, Sheila, I can understand wanting to have a business because we're supposed to be about economic development. But I will also say, my goodness, we really need to get together and try to find a place for you to do this that is
Well, I mean, you have
good.
hundreds of farmers that have thousands of lands, but nobody will give up 2 acres anywhere around town. And if it's gonna be a boarding, or it's gonna be a daycare where people bring their dogs, like you go to work and you bring your dog, you don't wanna drive 10 miles out of town to take your dog to a daycare and then drive back to town to go to work, to drive 10 miles. So we've been trying to find close to the city limits. So my point is, I understand if you don't want to sell it, we could be all up on this if that's the truth. But I just wanted to say it wasn't it wasn't, I'm gonna put this here to piss off all the farmers around
Oh,
my
I never once
community.
thought
It
that.
wasn't that I picked that place
I never
because
once thought
I really
that at
wanted to
all.
upset everybody, because it's not the deal. It was a well planned out situation. The doggy daycare that she worked at is in a strip mall next to a bar that has a bar dining, that has outside eating. They never, ever have complaints. Never, ever, like right next to it. So, I mean, as far as, and what got brought up at the public thing was not, oh, I think it's gonna be hazardous for this, it was, I feel this, I don't want this, nothing was like substantially posted that this was a horrible thing that we could do, other than how you feel about it.
We don't think it's a horrible thing, we just don't.
No, I'm just
It's not
saying,
a horrible thing.
you didn't have
We don't
any
want it on us.
placement about why it
And we
couldn't
know
be
the
there
land's
as
hard
far
to
as.
find. I searched for years trying to find out the
They're being very nice.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't trying to upset anybody. I have worked since she went to Des Moines in 22. So I've worked in Des Moines with her when she's been in Des Moines, and we've designed a place. We tried to make it be good for the area. We tried to make it good for the community. It's gonna bring people. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to put a strip club out there that's gonna draw the riffraff, I mean, it's a substantial place. People take better care of their animals than they do they take better than their dogs. I mean, their dogs they take better care of than they do their kids nowadays. I mean, it's to get people in here like you guys, and I appreciate you coming in, and I know this takes your time, and you probably had to leave work. I had to leave work. My point is if it is sellable, it's not gonna be, I can't guarantee you, because who knows what's gonna come up, but I'm not gonna complain to you about you spraying your fields or digging in manure or whatever, and placing your driveway. I would do it to your advantage, whatever makes you happy. It would be as wide as you want, as good as you want. I mean, it's all about community and bringing people together. I can't get people to come in here between 8 and 10 o'clock. People are not gonna take off work on the public hearing to say, oh, I want a doggy daycare. I mean, I could get miles of names of people that have called me in huge surroundings of this area that want that here. If you don't want it in town, close to town, that's fine. But it's gonna bring people to town. It's gonna bring people to the gas stations, the grocery stores. It's gonna be a good thing for the community, and it's a need. The assistant county attorney, I talked to her when I brought this up the first time, and she's like, oh my God, it's a great idea. I take my dog clear up to Tiffin to board her dog. She takes her dog clear up to Tiffin to board her dog. I have people that are in Hayesville, 2 dogs. They have to take their dogs clear to Des Moines to board them. For their
I'm
route.
not against you building that, but this particular location is just not a good fit.
I felt like people got into the weeds. They were like, oh, you'll have to bring in a lot of fill. My problem. Oh, you'll have to redo the driveway. My problem. It was, some of the points I had was, that you're not gonna have to maintain that road. We'll fix it. They've lived there 5 years, never done anything to it anyway.
So one thing I think would be our problem is I have a lot of realtor friends, and they said that will drastically affect our property value. So if I ever go to, I'm just telling you what I heard. If I went to sell my house that I worked really hard to do and take care of and keep and maintain, I don't want something out there that's gonna affect that drastically.
I
And
would
that's-
question
you think it does
that
or not, that's
because
fine,
of the
but
distance that
multiple
it is from
people-
homes.
I'm just telling you.
But
That's my
I understand, I hear you.
Sheila, I like Joe's idea of get a hold of realtors,
We have.
really.
I've called people.
No matter what, land's hard to find,
It is.
unless you wanna pay up at the zoo for it.
Well, we offered a kazoo for 1.68 acres or something, and then it fell through. We're not opposed to having to pay a little money for some land, but nobody wants to sell any land.
And I'll be honest, the reason I like to control what's around me. I like having nobody around.
I understand, but if this wasn't
I love that.
What's wrong?
Joe's my
with
nearest
Why can't
neighbor.
Feed help?
well, FIDA is in town, and in town comes up with all the one, FIDA doesn't have any money. Because FIDA can't run the sewer and the water. They want me to do that myself.
I had heard FIDA had some land for economic development right south by the Fun and Sun place.
They won't sell that to me. They said they're saving it for something bigger.
There's also some right there by the hotel
Yeah,
And they're not selling that
and
either.
on the west side of the DOT.
I'm telling
No,
you.
I know, I'm just.
We went to them and we said, we'll buy this and this, two properties out there. And they came back to us and said, we don't have any property for you to buy unless you want to buy the,
The RISE grant, VITA can't sell that unless it's tourist related. They got their wrist slapped for selling that to Fun and Son or something.
oh, really?
Yes,
Good to know.
because that was one of the things that got tossed on my plate when I first got it down here was. the
They did get in
evaluation
trouble
of
for
the economic performance of the RISE grant
Uh-huh.
right.
and a recreational vehicle sales facility was not an approved use. So everything else they have to be extremely careful of, or the state's gonna want to claw back their money.
Oh, gee whiz.
What's out there by the county sheriff?
Dwayne?
Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, by the DOT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the summit, yeah.
You don't think they'd fit out there?
That has
No,
to
they
be,
won't.
that has to be, my understanding, that has to be tourist related. Something to bring in people from outside.
You travel, you gotta put your dogs up somewhere, it's tourist.
Yeah, because there's really, in Sheila's defense, there's really no place to board a dog. Most vets don't do that now.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's one out by Libertyville, but you're gonna go out to Libertyville and then south Unless-
what'd you say, Joe?
Brookville Road, we take ours to Brookville Road.
and boarding.
Okay.
Not
We're
breeding.
telling these folks not boarding.
No, not breeding.
Okay, so they will be there overnight.
They will be there overnight. But here's the thing with the overnight schedule. They go out 5 or 6 o'clock, they come back in, they're in all night until 10 o'clock, they go out potty, come back in, and they don't go back out till 6 in the morning. Most of the times that they're gonna be out,
Man.
most people aren't even home.
Okay, so we do have a motion for the table. And want to restate your motion, Joe, just for the record.
I move that we do not sell this property on Osage.
Permanently.
Ever.
The DOT indicated we could, so we never, we permanently or ever.
We gotta be clear there. They didn't say we couldn't sell it. They're saying can't build on
Can't build on it, okay.
it. They can sell it to mow it, you can sell it to, and at the point in time that you guys were talking, at least we weren't aware that we owned that. We believed that that was a DOT thing at the time.
Mhm.
Turned out that it kind of was and it wasn't. But anyway, so we have a motion. I'll second your motion. Any further discussion?
I will say, I wish we would reconsider what I had originally said, have a ride and drive, work with some prairie dust planted there.
Well, we can certainly put that on the agenda to discuss and consider, but it's not,
Probably not today.
that's what I'm saying. It's not.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna give you any tax money, or it's not gonna give you
No,
any sale
you're
money.
absolutely right.
You know.
Tax money, you might get $40, $50.
That would be wrong.
And
I mean, are you
if we
serious?
sold it, no, I mean, if we sold it, nothing was built on it. Or right now, it's only bringing in, it would only bring in.
It's not bringing anything right now,
Yeah.
but if you sold it,
I'm
it would
quite
bring in
sure
ag.
somebody would be willing to rent it.
But back to my ride and drive idea, Joe, we would be helping the county folks out.
That's true, that's true.
The county park stuff there every once in a while anyway.
Yeah,
Your road hose been there.
I
quite a
know.
bit.
but at least we aren't growing marijuana there, okay?
Are you sure?
I have a motor for.
Well, I don't know, let's burn the
Maybe some
place.
growing in there. I keep the road
Volunteer,
down.
right?
If you pardon the pun, I'm not going down that road.
I just wanted to state, I wasn't trying to make it.
No,
We
no.
And if you're not gonna
understand.
sell it, it's fine.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Oh, no.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
That's
Thank
a
you,
good idea,
everybody.
like your idea of a parking lot.
What now?
That's a good idea.
Well, they've got one west of town and it's really nice because you can park your car there and hop in with somebody else and it helps the county folks. So,
Right.
as opposed to parking your
At
vehicle
Walmart.
on the road and nobody knows it.
Well,
It's yours and they tow it away and
Gives AJ someplace to park.
he's parked here every Monday morning. He's fine.
So you and I talked just real quickly. I don't know if you reached out. I don't know that it would do you a nickel's worth of good. But I think I would reach out to Bergmeyer and see if there's any possibility behind them on the north side of them. They got quite a few acres out there.
Bergmeyer, wait, the vet?
Yeah,
Veterinary.
Yeah, that's.
North
what
of him, you mean they own that?
Yes.
North of them, they don't.
North of
No,
this,
they-
all that fence.
She has it all fenced off now.
Yeah, but that's not even 10 acres, is it?
She doesn't need that.
But he's,
No, I'm just-
they're not gonna sell that. We have spoke to them.
Okay, I was just, that's.
Yeah.
You check Marketplace? I seen some
Marketplace?
land on Brookville, at Gloucester Road here just a couple days ago, Marketplace for sale. You check Facebook Marketplace?
Oh, we've checked everywhere, but I mean, I maybe didn't
Where?
see it. Where?
Terry, where in Glasgow?
It was Brookville Road, wasn't it?
Brookville?
I just, right here, it's none of my business. I'm not.
No, it's fine.
But
People are helping.
Land.com, website, there's 3.08 acres listed, on Shooting Star Avenue, and I looked at the map, it looks like it's north of Brookville, west of Vedic City, 19,500 for just over 3 acres.
I think it's HSA. I think it's an HSA. I think it's a housing complex.
Okay, it look, I mean, it looks.
Oh,
I mean, cause there's a
Looks like
nice
a
place,
field, so
there's a nice
that's
place
why
on
I know
Deer,
it's
3 acres,
Shooting
2 different
Star.
Yeah.
parcels. But they're wanting homes. They don't want businesses. They don't want commercial. They want homes. But I appreciate it. And if anyone has anything, I'm open.
Write your phone number down. I know a good realtor. Write it down, I'll give it to her. Guaranteed.
see, that's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, it's good to talk, but
You done?
no, I'm not against building it, but it's just not.
No.
I got hay to move, looking for any volunteers.
Can you take some off my house?
Hey,
Huh?
I can't even get none of mine, John.
He's probably giving it away.
He said, all he's
I
doing
got almost
is just
300
moving it
pounds.
from one side of the field to the other. He didn't say he was selling it, he said he had to move it.
I gotta move it.
He's converting
So he can
it.
his cattle.
But I do have a.
You rotate your stock.
Who do you-
All right.
who do you work with?
We have on here.
Thank you.
Yeah. that's one of the walls.
You can work with
We
whoever.
have,
Well, yeah, that's fine.
I'll pass it on. I'll pass it on. And I'm not against you.
No,
I
I just don't, I feel like there's like
Actually, like.
a lot of anger and I'm like, I didn't think so.
Yeah.
We farm in the
Thank
area.
you.
We have a farm that
I
new people have moved in and they don't want us to spray, they don't want us to
And I get
drive.
that, but I'm
and-
like, I'm the farm girl all my life.
I
so-
know,
But
but
also people say that.
people come and
I'm not saying
go.
you would, but people do say that they end up being that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Bye,
Thank you.
Dan.
Bye. Cookies next time, I
Consider
promise.
Event permit.
That's what it said last.
Oh, we got that back on the,
Yep. Except they don't have one.
I don't have a copy of it either.
Thank you.
Don't leave yet.
I could. I think I've got a copy of it right now, or did we?
Stayed for the excitement. Well,
Because this gentleman keeps coming back, we gotta give him something. Easier about the event permit.
Ah. Have you been working on something on that?
I have
Good
the
luck,
original
Steve.
one I submitted, but that's
You
kind
turn
of
to
a
the east. How it goes.
discretionary decision of what you wanna put, if you wanna adopt or what you wanna put in it.
Does it have to be an ordinance?
Is this one?
Oh, it, for
Where's that? Sorry.
you want it to be enforceable, I think you
This is-
do.
Well, when we used to have a fireworks
South.
permit and they had to ask permission and give us the
And this
dates,
is
the time,
Alaska.
insurance and all of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
All right, well,
Um,
we've tried
and
all
then
along there,
there
but I
was a
can try.
fee.
But she's
There's a
not
lot
right
of
on the
places
corner.
where they
She's right on
have
the corner.
Voluntary
Which I don't
fee
care. I mean, if it's
agreements.
close to the
Right.
corner.
But-
I don't care.
It'd be.
If it's violated,
Do you, oh, you had to.
it's basically just
This is
community
good, really get
pressure.
more help.
Well, and like I said, I
So,
wasn't
you
trying
know,
to cause trouble.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know
trying
what
to
to
get it.
say, if you
I mean,
want to have,
If your kids going.
legal
you just do what you
enforcement.
gotta do.
Yeah.
to have the sheriff empowered to walk out with
She
a
has such a
gun
passion.
and say you can't do this.
Walk out with a gun, but-
No,
Thank
I make a
Yeah.
joke. I'm sorry. I have a really bad sense of humor.
No, that's
my
all right.
worst- Worst fault. Well, I think it's my worst fault. I'm sure there's, it's like a lot of it. But seriously, if you want to have, someone to have a penalty if they don't do it, you have to pass it into a law. And the county has a right to pass laws, you do. It's, you don't want to have to do any laws. My personal philosophy is, unless it's absolutely necessary. They came in and made the presentation. I don't know if you were here when they talked about that. But you have a right to specify it. Other places that have passed that, municipalities,
they have later abandoned it. But you see signs when you go into a lot of towns, it says no, jake braking or whatever for vehicles. Sometimes it's in their city codes, sometimes it's not. That if you pass something, it's then in the discretion of law enforcement, whether they're going to enforce it. They don't arrest everyone that goes on 163 and drives, 66 miles an hour.
Right.
So it's a hard decision, but you guys have to decide, where you put the lines. If you need to put a place to where you regulate it, but it's your decision, and then to decide on how many decibels. What I wrote up was cobbled off of another city's ordinance, which is no longer in effect, and they included everything, chainsaws, it would have applied to a whole lot of things. And it was, pointed out, well, I've seen a lot of auctions that are very loud. I don't know that anyone would enforce it in that situation, but you can set standards high enough that it wouldn't be a problem for anyone. And allow it during the day, and then a different standard starting at 11 p.m. at night, and so lower. And it's provided in that sample ordinance that I made. It was noise measured at the location of others' property, so that and scientifically measured, not just it sounds too loud.
See, here's and I'm make sure here that I'm speaking for myself. And I think the issue is that I understand, okay, so from 12 noon until 11 o'clock at night is one thing, but then from 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning to something else together, something altogether different. But the other thing is that, when we're talking about measuring, I don't know who's going to go out and measure scientifically. I mean, I look at it as, if I'm laying in my bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning and I can hear boom, 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 then from my perspective, it exceeds what's allowable by law, so to speak.
And they had laws like that on the books very early on. The speed limits in most all states were reasonable and proper. There was no mile per hour limit.
Right.
But you have a duty to the public to tell the public
what that is,
what the limit is that a person can legally do. And if someone then goes and violates it, it's like the Marines. We can't make you do anything, but we can make you wish you hadn't.
Well, and I wouldn't even so much as far as a fine as much as shut it down.
Well,
in other words,
understand.
I think that we as a board, as a county, need to know, so that's the first purpose of the permit, is the need to know that it's going on. I have some deep concerns about what's going on out there above and beyond the noise, with all due respect. Okay. I just do. I take them at their word that they've gone to great lengths to try and mitigate that or neuter it. But I don't think it's entirely possible in that regard. And when you have a whole bushel basket full of Narcan, they don't think it's possible either. And so those are concerns that I have. And if we have to address that in an ordinance, then at least from my perspective, then I'm willing to look at it in the form of an ordinance, set a public hearing and debate it. And pass it or not, depending upon the board's.
And the proposal I gave you would allow someone to take action, but it is also a public nuisance as described. You have a legal right to protect your own property and resort to the courts. And, the opponents to that, understand. I mean, that's our whole democracy. You have to have to follow the rules, you guys would be imposing a rule. You could pass a rule without significant punishment. I put in punishment so that if someone wanted to enforce it, someone was violating it and intended to violate it, that a judge would be able to do it. To punish them in magistrate court, it'd be a misdemeanor. We have ordinances in town regarding dogs that Fairfield has. And it's hard to decide. I can't write and decide what you want
Right.
unless I know what you want.
So what I would like to do, if the board is amenable to it, is to review, because I think I still have it on my computer, to review the permit that Ed drew up, mark it up however you want to mark it up, and discuss and consider it Monday and set a public hearing date for it.
Monday, the 15th.
Yeah.
Because today's 8, you add 7, gets 15.
I always wondered how that worked, how they come up with other.
It's 14 plus 1.
Can you reach him? Because I can't.
I have too many witnesses.
Okay.
That's why I lean back.
So what we'll do is, I'll look and see, I'm fairly confident that I still have that. If not, I'll reach out to Ed and ask him to send it to me, and then I'll get it to you
I'm
guys.
very happy to do whatever you request.
We'll review it, mark it up, and set a public hearing date on the 15th.
What's true?
So in that way, we set a public hearing. Now, the public hearing won't be the 15th. We'll set the date and time. And then at the public hearing, there'll be discussion. And we probably will have more than one public hearing. I learned a lesson a long time ago. One public hearing just gets you in trouble. So we'll have at least 2, possibly 3. And at that point, then the board will decide whether or not they want to make an ordinance, but there'll be input if you see something or read something in this ordinance. And if Abby doesn't have your email, if you want to give her your email, she can send that to you when she sends out the agenda, so that you can review it, and any ideas that you may have as far as that part of it goes. My intent personally, for me, is to know that it's going on. As I just indicated, I have some overriding concerns beyond the noise, and I understand the noise. I don't do noise very well. At the risk of getting in trouble, my wife's not online, that's part of it. But,
We're telling her anyway. so
Okay.
you
I
know.
think it's recorded though.
Yeah.
okay,
Be carefully, it's cloudy today.
yes. So anyway, that's the plan, but we'll, Ed will get me, and I'll get it to the other 2 so that they can review it.
Can I speak out of turn for the public comment, or you're not the public comment
Yeah.
part yet, but no, I appreciate it. I agree with you, your perspective on shutting it down, because if it's a simple fine, then it just becomes another cost of doing business, and we just just go on, and it has no effect. And from my perspective, what's impacting me is the sound, is the noise. So that's where I'm coming from, but I can see the impact also, things you're talking about, public safety concerns, just the traffic, gravel dust, the risk of collisions and impact to other people in the neighborhood that I don't see where I live.
And I'm keenly aware too of the revenue that it generates, both obviously for the event providers, as well as, the community. And like you said, there's tons and tons and tons of people that come in. It is a big deal. It really is. And I don't think we're looking to stifle that or actually shut it down. But I do think that we need to have tools in our toolbox that allows us to control some of the.
One of the other things, not only as far as the criminal law, you can have you have a civil right if there is under the common law, but also if you pass an ordinance with no criminal penalty, if someone violates that, you don't have to wait till they violate it and make them pay a fine. There is a right under the Iowa law, bring an action for an injunction to force the other person to obey the law. They used to have it, they called it a peace bond, that you could have someone taken into court to force them to follow the law. And when I was county attorney, we had a situation where some of the private school, one of the private schools here did not agree to give the information that was required by state law to our public schools to make sure that all kids were in school. And a district judge ordered them, you have to comply with that law in advance if there's some reason to believe that they're not going to. So that if there's an ordinance passed as far as a noise limit and you have fears that it's going to be violated, you have a right to have a petition. A citizen can file a petition with the district court for a mandatory injunction requiring them to obey the law in advance. If they violate it, they are violating the order of the Iowa District Court, and they can then be hauled into court for contempt of court. So it tends to get their attention. So I approve whatever the board decides to do, and I'll be glad to help any way I can. And I'd be glad if you have an issue to contact me as well.
I appreciate that, and I understand there's, I can go down some other legal channels here, but obviously that's kind of a last resort. I feel like it's an issue beyond just me, so I'm trying to bring it to your attention, and I appreciate you looking at that, and hopefully can get some resolution on that. And I'm in agreement. I'm not here trying to say shut it down, don't let them do it, but just make sure it's safe and not a nuisance.
Well, when I do think, I take them at their word when they were here and they were talking about steps that they were trying to take to mitigate the sound and shall we say confine it to a box, so to speak. And I don't know how that'll work. I'm not, I don't have the technological know-how or understanding or any of the rest of it in that regard, but I believe that they do, and I believe that they're serious about being neighborly as far as that part goes, and we'll just have to see. But I also think that we can put some, like I said, tools in the box that allows us to have some to mitigate some of the factors potentially.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm a little bit less optimistic with it, just from the standpoint of what I've experienced since these events, not just the one that they were talking about. There's another one. They're connected. It all sounds the same.
Yeah.
But this has been going on for several years. They usually have one in the spring and then they have this one now. There's been no change, and there's been some discussion, and there's been complaints, and it's you can say all the right things, but if so far there's not a demonstration of anything that's having an impact. So I kind of hesitate to trust that.
Yeah. Well, and I get that. I mean, it's if you're part of the expression, you get gun shy, cry wolf, whatever. So that'll be the process. And then next week we'll set a date for a date and time for public hearing and go from there. So anything else on that? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee reports.
I had my Resilient Action Committee meeting.
Brazilian action.
Resilient Action Committee. They're trying to come up with guidelines when there's gonna be a project being done. That's kind of a form to go through to get all the questions answered and stuff. And then, I had traction Thursday too. I only got in on part of that, so that's all I did. Oh, I forgot about Santa Claus Saturday night. I do regret that.
You know, cold and snowy, possible bad weather, watching Lee dressed up. I stayed home.
Well, I don't blame you.
I didn't have anything to record.
So, like I said, I did go to the dentist to no avail. We did have, just keeping you guys apprised of what's going on. We did have All American come into Jackson Point on Thursday. And they'll be coming back on the 12th and again on the 23rd. And I did pick up the Santa suit Friday and had my picture taken with a couple of dogs. Seriously.
Did it fit?
Yeah, I would like to see proof of that. Could you bring a picture?
If I knew who the people were, but they brought their dogs to have their picture taken with Santa and the dog. We were very busy. I thought it was great. It was constant for about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. And then it just kind of went. And so, and I can't tell you who the individual was that was in charge, but decided to shut it down.
Was it snowing at that?
No, we didn't have any
start?
bad weather. The
No.
temperature was really pretty
I
decent.
know.
Maybe not so much for the kids standing outside, but I've done it when it was a lot worse than.
Yeah.
And so I left. I got in the car, started the car, and I'm backing up. I have the wig off, I have the beard off, I have the hat on. I've undone the coat, and because it is. I'm backing out, and one of the elves is standing there going. So I wave back. Listen, back and forth. So I'm going, oh, okay, so she wants me to stop. So I roll the window down and she says, we got somebody that wants to have their picture taken with Santa. And I said, I all the stuff off. And I said, you can't sit in a dark car without a mirror and a light and put all of that stuff back on because you do seriously, or at least I do, because the beard is in such a way and then the wig, which doesn't necessarily, they say it's a one size fits all, but at any rate. And then you got to get the hat. If you don't get the hat just right, then it pops off. It's, in fact, I had one of the kids come sitting on my lap and he looks and he goes, I can't see your mouth. Yeah, he's right. You can't see my mouth because it comes up here like this and it's all covered. But at any rate, so that was the extent of
Tried
it.
really hard not to say anything.
It was, I know, I did it. It was fun. I had one
Good.
little girl, her name is Isabel. She brought me a picture that she colored blue and of a dinosaur. And
A blue dinosaur.
blue dinosaur. And
They might have had them, you never know.
yeah,
I wanted to recommend to anyone watching and to you folks, there is a fabulous new Christmas movie that was released in 2024 titled Red One. And I think it is one of the best Christmas
It is
movies to restore the belief of everyone, even old 79-year-old guys in Santa Claus. It is a fabulous movie. It's on Amazon. It was made by Amazon and MBN. It is delightful.
we don't
The Rock is in
And
it.
I highly recommend it. Just had to
Red
mention that.
one.
Red one.
Red, RON, 2 words.
Well, as I remarked to somebody the other day, I think maybe it was you, that I was a bah humbug sort of guy. Would think you, yeah.
Hmm.
It used to be, but anyway, that's all I had.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Your Jackson Point meeting is December 15th
Uh-huh.
at Jackson Point. What
Yes.
time is that? Is that public invited to that?
Sure.
Okay.
What time?
But you tell me it's your meeting.
3.
Oh. Well, the other question I have is, there's a scheduled, meeting on Thursday, and if it's on our agenda, I could go as well as Joe.
What's Thursday?
This Thursday, emergency preparedness.
Oh,
I had asked Shannon to.
Oh, yeah,
put it on the
I'm
agenda.
going to that.
Yeah, I know, so if it's on the agenda, I can go too.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
I had
on?
asked Shannon to put it on the agenda, but
Okay.
Debbie was not here.
Okay.
So if we could put that on there,
No, I
because
didn't-
Joe has to buy me breakfast, so yeah.
Oh, cool.
Go.
Where and what time?
Hospital at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Coffee and no cream.
At night?
Yeah,
No,
No.
8 in the morning.
it's at 8 in the morning.
I know that. I prefer 8 at night. No, actually 8 in the morning is fine.
You hadn't been going, so I didn't think about putting it on.
No, I know, I saw it, so I asked, I talked to Chris, who's still there being very quiet. And, she sent something to, Shannon,
Okay.
but I noticed that the change wasn't here
Well, how
yet.
could she have said anything to Shannon if she was being quiet?
That was last Friday.
Oh, okay.
She's changed.
Chris has changed. She has a new leaf going over.
I'm just waiting for public comment.
There'll be no public comment today. No.
Hey, do we get leave? Thank you very much for being Santa,
Oh,
because, takes everybody to make those kids happy.
well, they were, like I say, it was a lot of fun and it just seemed like, honestly, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way at all, but it seemed like we had been there forever because it was just a constant stream. There was no, and so when all of a sudden it died off, I thought, well, gee, it must be 8 o'clock, 8:15. No, 7:10.
Oh, dear.
So, but anyway, and they take pictures, by the way, of all of the kids. And, of course, you've got the little ones that don't want anything to do with you. And then I had one little one, she was not going to sit on Santa's lap. It just was not going to happen. So mommy sat beside Santa and set her on her lap. Well, that was a little bit better. And she kept trying to slide her over, and as soon as she was getting too close, then she started in again. So then I said, will you hold Santa's hand? So she held my hand.
Oh,
So
that's
then
nice.
So then they took pictures. And seriously, there was a couple that brought their dogs in. 2 of them, the smaller
Really?
and the bigger. Yeah, wanted their dogs to have the picture with Santa. I don't know. I had a hard time talking to them, trying to find out what they wanted for Christmas. So I'm just gonna bring them some bones.
Well, in defense of that little girl, when I was small, I was always scared of hippies with long hair and a beard too.
Yeah, I get it,
I have a couple of things to say whenever you're ready.
Yeah,
So, a while back when I was chair, we had a cuss jar, and I think the money's still sitting somewhere in a jar. I'd like to give it to the auditor's office to spend on some extra stuff for the Christmas party.
that's,
Okay?
yeah.
Sounds.
I'd like that covered.
I write that down.
The other thing I want to know is, as Christmas is coming up, are we gonna have a meeting on the 29th or the 22nd? I think you're already scheduling the 22nd. I just wanted to know.
What's? the
Why wouldn't
29th?
we?
Sometimes we don't. And he is the chair, so I thought I'd ask him. Sometimes we have, sometimes we haven't.
You plan on traveling for Christmas?
From the farm to here.
I mean, it's up to you guys, I guess, and up to you guys, I don't know. I mean, the first.
Sometimes there's a lot of folks gone on the 29th, since that's the Monday,
Yeah.
might be better, yeah. Never hands up.
Depends if there's last minute business we have to take care of too. So.
I'm fine. Are you saying we should make that decision now? Can we make that decision now?
This is easy. We will not have a meeting on the 29th
Oh, okay.
because the audit, in case of an emergency, we can have the meeting, on the 23rd.
Is that an executive decision?
And I'm not executive, you are.
Oh,
I just think
okay.
it's nice to have people let people plan.
Well, yeah, we're given plenty of notice. I don't think we'll have a meeting on the 28th either. I don't see any reason to.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I had the wrong date.
Yeah.
All right, next time I get the date wrong, tell me.
But if I give you the 28th off, then you gotta be here on the 29th.
Oh.
What did you guys decide about the 26th? What did everybody decide?
As far as I know, there's still a December 26th. I haven't seen anybody remove it. It's on the calendar.
It is indeed on the calendar. No, a couple meetings ago, you guys were kicking around. There was a question brought up about, I know it's not a county holiday, so everybody could use paid time off. Is it up to every elected official what they're going to do? Or I'm just asking so I can plan as well while you guys are talking about it.
Is that Chris?
Yes, it's Chris. Of course it's me.
Chris, are you saying? What are you saying? You'd like the 26th off and you'd like to use personal time off for that or vacation?
Well, that's what I'm going to do that anyway, because I told the Board of Health I have the autonomy to do that per policy. So I discussed that at the Board of Health meeting. I just said, if the county does it, I said, there's been discussion, but nothing's been decided. It's not a county holiday. But I said, the way Christmas falls this year, there was some discussion about departments not opening on the 26th. And I
I'm
said,
gonna ask the boss, are you gonna be here?
we will follow suit.
Why did I know that?
I believe most offices are closing.
Okay, so, and are they closing at noon on the 24th as usual?
There we go.
No, they're gonna stay later on the 24th, so they take the 26th off.
Believe me, I've worked my share of holidays, nights, days, PM shift. I'm used to
You
it.
asked.
I'm asking so I can make a sign for the public. That's why I'm asking.
And I appreciate that, and I guess what I'm going to say is that for me personally, I know that I don't have jurisdiction over elected officials, and I understand that. But it's getting to the point where we're damn near taking the whole flipping week off. And people can't conduct business. And during that, I think that for me personally, I'm gonna be here on the 24th. If somebody else is not here on the 24th, I don't have any jurisdiction over that, but.
No, usually, I'm just saying historically, the offices close at noon on the 24th of December.
Well, I get that, but what we're saying is we're gonna be closed on the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, and the 29th. I think we ought to be open.
No, I didn't say closed on the 29th.
We're not gonna be closed on.
I'm not here on the 29th.
Meeting on the 29th.
Yeah,
Because
I'm here on the 29th.
A week off, actually.
Okay, my bad. I
Back to
apologize.
work Monday.
Yeah, we're working Monday.
Okay.
Just because you guys aren't having a meeting.
Some people are.
Okay, this has been even more confusing than I thought. Thanks.
Yeah.
Are we to public comment yet? Because I'm gonna get off this.
I thought that's what that
Yeah,
was.
we've been
Well,
on
that
for
was
10
part of it,
minutes.
but that's not why I stayed on this long.
Oh,
Are we to public comment, Chairman Dimmitt?
have you got all of your?
I have.
Okay, yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you for letting me speak during public comment.
Yeah,
So-
time's up.
No kidding. So I had a conversation with you guys last week individually. And those of you that have been supervisors for a long time probably know what I'm going to say. Christy's looking at me like, oh boy. So this is something that I have felt needs to be addressed within this county structure for quite some time as an appointed official. There needs to be some consistency with raises that are given mid-year. I have discussed this individually with some of you at different times. I would like the county to look at the potential of adopting a county-wide step and longevity policy. So it is fair and equitable to every county employee. I know some elected officials appoint their staff as deputies, and then they are guaranteed a percentage of their elected official salary. We don't have that here at the health department. That's my request, that there's some research done on what other counties do as far as step and longevity raises go. And it wouldn't even have to be, I talked about this, it wouldn't even have to be a salary compensation for longevity. It could be something as maybe given extra days at 10, at increments of 5 years. You get an extra day at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of service, because the salary is already being paid. It's just whether you're here or not. But that could be a benefit. So it wouldn't cost the county more dollars, because I understand budgets are tight and they're not going to get any better. But I would be remiss as an appointed department head to not advocate on behalf of all the county employees. Thank you. That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, any other public comments?
I wanted to make one comment too. During the discussion before the board on the issue of HIPAA, there is an awful lot of boogeyman that is used with HIPAA, and it's poorly understood. I've been involved in litigation with it, not for my wife, but for other nurses in the past. And it is a complicated area of law, and it primarily concerns those that are dealing with health. We do have a mental health program, and we have other places where health is involved in health information. But at any rate, I sent around to each of the county supervisors the comments that I asked about the chat on Chat GPT while we were sitting here, to the extent HIPAA involves county government. This is national comments from AI. Probably 20% is incorrect on any AI subject, but I thought it was important to see that. We haven't researched that, but I wanted all of you to see that. I assume, without knowing, that the Iowa Association of Counties may have a better handle on it. But as I say, I haven't looked at their presentation, but I just wanted you to see what the Chat GPT free summary was. And so I've copied that, sent it to each of you in your emails.
Okay. I can tell you that Karush, or whatever they are, were here before when I was a supervisor before, and we turned them down. But that was a previous board. They're just pretty expensive, and when you got digging into the weeds, there wasn't a lot there as far as what you were getting for the amount of money that you were spending. And not anything that you can't, if you're diligent enough, in my estimation, you can't take care of yourself. I mean, if I gotta pay somebody $16,000 to come in here and tell me I gotta keep my file cabinet locked that's got your health information in it, that's a problem in my estimation. I should be able to point out to, you gotta keep your file cabinet locked, I mean, I can remember that they were going around, and it is what it is. So,
Lee, I think that HIPAA thing, there's good things, there's bad things. Just the fact that I had surgery and everybody knew it might have been a HIPAA violation.
no.
But we just have to be more conscious of stuff.
But if you divulge the information,
If I tell you, I know it's
that's right.
all over, so I get
Exactly.
that.
As I get, first person I call is AJ.
Huh? I've already called it.
Okay. Yeah, that's why he says I already know. I thought it was joking.
I've got one more thing.
Okay.
Josh talked about a demonstration on these new cots for the ambulance. This is Thursday afternoon at the Arts and Convention Center at 3:30, Stanton Industries. And it's a cot that you put down, and it's got a conveyor, and it crawls under the person if they've got a back injury.
Hmm.
And you don't move the person, you don't log roll them or anything. I seen a video on it.
Really?
What I see it, talked to Josh, but it was scheduled for 3:30 at the convention center.
Okay, I'll let him know.
You might want to put that on the agenda.
Yeah.
This Thursday,
Pardon?
this Thursday. or
This
next-
Thursday. It's what I've got down in my
I
book.
guarantee it's a snowstorm.
Well,
Mm.
but I intend to go over to it because I'm sure he's going to come to us wanting to purchase one of them or two of them.
Maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know.
Mm.
Thank you. Yep.
All right,
Thanks.
Thank you.
any other public comments? You said that, I don't know.
Chris is gone, so.
Okay. So, we'll allow, or a motion to allow claims and approve reports in the amount of $152,396.19.
So moved.
Second.
A discussion? I would like to say I'm very proud of Darcy. I mean, she had a book that's full of stuff she had to do here. A lot of writing and.
Was she able to get back from wherever she went?
Mhm.
Good.
She was here on Tuesday.
No, because the flights were canceled, stuff like that. It's fine.
They had quite a bit of a delay, but.
That's just normal anymore.
So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn? Oh, yeah.
Second.
Beat you to it.
I couldn't resist. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.